Wrestling POV content may not be suitable to some audiences. Your discretion is advised.
This is the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and you are listening to the Wrestling POV podcast.
First and foremost, Tony, cut the shit.
What's going on, fellas?
What is happening?
Yeah.
1 week till the Clash of the Castle.
Hey, somebody actually got it right to start the show. As we are sad, Tony is not here this week, but we do have a special guest. Ben Pierce is back. Ben, how's it going, brother?
I'm good. Did you guys miss me that much? Really?
Oh, absolutely.
Third time's the charm, I suppose.
Yeah, sure. But yeah, going there, I am your host, the $50 man, Clay Cummings, along with the gentleman, Elio Canella.
What's going on?
And like I said, Ben, you don't have a nickname yet, so we're just going to go with Ben Pierce.
Very good. Eventually, I'll get there.
Absolutely. So I wanted to start the show off. Did you guys see whose birthday it was this week?
Yep,
Vincent Kennedy McMahon. Yes.
Yep.
What I found interesting, it's his 77th birthday. This is his first appearance out after this whole scandal is going on. But I wanted you guys to see who was at this certain birthday party with him.
Oh.
Did you guys happen to find out who they were?
Yes, I did.
John Cena.
And the other one was Brock Lesnar.
Yep.
They had Pat McAfee.
There you go.
And then Vince had his own lady friend.
And it was not Linda.
Well, no. Well, of course it wouldn't be Linda, but we knew that by now.
Oh yeah, true. But yeah, I just found it interesting that Brock and Cena were there, but Pat McAfee. I mean, Vince must love Pat as much as I do. So that's saying a lot.
Well, we all love Pat.
I mean, he gave him a match at WrestleMania.
Absolutely. He's the best commentator going right now, man.
Right? Yep.
I 100% agree. He brings a level of entertainment to SmackDown that had been sorely lacking before him for quite a long time.
For sure. I just wanted to throw that out there. So let's go into the Facebook post this week. We posted on our fantasy matchup, and this was a really interesting matchup. We have Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Seth Rollins. Sounds like a really good match. So let's go to you guys first before we go to the comments. Ben, who would you take in this matchup if it were ever to happen?
Hands down, it's got to be the Dragon. I mean, nowadays Seth Rollins is awesome. Seth Rollins is at the top of my list in terms of modern superstars. But I'll tell you what, Ricky was so ahead of his time that I feel like you could plug him into any generation ever in wrestling history, and he'd be at the top of the list.
Okay, all right, Elio, what are your thoughts?
Who would win? Me. Take my money.
That's true.
But for real, I gotta go with Ricky Steamboat. And I'll tell you why. First of all, the only one I know that's never been a heel in his career ever. And he's got the experience over Seth Rollins and some of the memorable feuds that he's had, with Jake Snake Roberts, Randy Savage, Ric Flair.
Definitely.
So I got to go with Ricky Steamboat.
You know what, guys? I would agree this would be one hell of a match. I would pay good money to see this match between these two. They would definitely tear the house down. But I got to go with the Dragon. I do on this one. Like, as much as I love Seth Rollins, as much as he's dominating WWE for the last 10 years, or so, I mean, you got to go with the Dragon. Throughout his whole time, he could play amazing babyface. We don't really know a heel, but he's too good of a babyface, to get this put over. And I know Seth would have the honor and privilege to lose this to Steamboat. So I got
absolutely.
I got to say Steamboat.
That would be interesting seeing him as a heel, just to see how he would work as a heel.
I know, right? It'd be weird, but I think he could do it.
But to me, the prospect of having Ricky as a heel, to me, is more fascinating than the possibility of Cena.
True.
Because now this is nothing against Cena. I'm not going on an anti-Cena rant. but I'm just saying, in terms of pure wrestling, John can't hold a candle to the Dragon. He just can't.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to the comments here. Barry Brock said Steamboat. Okay. Chris McDonald said that would be a hell of a match. Got to be at least 60 minutes. I can't pick. I think we all win with that match. Well, we asked you to pick, brother.
Right.
I understand what you're saying, but pick one.
Right.
We got Matt Novak said Steamboat for me. Although could go either way, this fantasy matchup would be a great one. I agree. Austin Martunik. I'm sorry, brother. I pronounced your last name wrong, probably. Ricky, in my opinion, would be a great match either way. And Josh Sanders said, so after a 5-star match between these two, Seth being the heel would use a dirty tactic, which would result in a shady finish with Seth winning and would curb stomp the Dragon, and that is visionary.
Oh, okay.
So he's going with Seth.
So in other words, not to contradict your or his opinion, I should say, but in other words, he wants to see a series of matches between the two, because to me that's what that kind of finish would set up.
For sure. I mean, I would be down for that as well. I mean, both guys are realistically could pin each other, in different matches. I could see Seth winning, I Steamboat winning. Yeah, I'm down for it, but hey, at the end of the day, one-on-one, one time only, it's got to be the Dragon.
Absolutely.
The Dragon. All right, we're going into our next Facebook post. Who should win the women's tag team championships? Elio, we'll go ahead and start with you first. Who should win these titles?
I feel like this tournament was designed for Io Sky and Dakota, but I want to see Aaliyah and Raquel win, because Aaliyah's been there since 2012 and they haven't done anything with her. They brought her up to SmackDown. She lost one match to Carmella. Then years later, they paired her up with Vanessa Bourne for a while. And now they're actually doing something with her all these years. And now they're doing something with her all these years later. Like, she's been there forever, it seems like. And just now they're looking at her differently.
Right.
So I'm going to go with Aaliyah and Raquel.
Okay. Ben, what do you think?
I am completely at a loss. I based on the matchup, I would have to say Dakota and Io. But can I just say I am so confused by this women's tag team tournament.
I agree.
I can't wrap my head around it, fellas, because, well, number one, it was immediately ravaged by injuries. Whether real or imagined, that's a different argument. But either way, ravaged by injuries. And number two, when this thing was set up, I thought for sure that this was a way to bring back Sasha and Naomi. Now, strictly in terms of the matches and none of the outside rumors and stuff like that, I am not a fan of this tournament at all.
Yeah, it's just kind of a thrown in thing. I agree.
It's more than the fact that it was just thrown in because the one thing that I can respect, even though I disagree with the presence of women's tag team titles, because quite frankly there are really no established women's tag teams.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that gets me is just I can respect it because prior to Triple H taking back power, we hadn't even heard of the women's tag team titles since the previous champions were unceremoniously dismissed. So I can respect him trying to bring back continuity and bring back championships and prestige and what such. He's done that with several championships, but to me, it's almost like the women's tag team titles are wasted TV time. One, like I said, because you don't have established women's tag teams, and really the company has never ever focused on women's tag team wrestling at all.
Yeah.
So from that perspective, it doesn't make sense, and then it's just. I don't know what it is, but the singles division of the division just absolutely. Did I just say singles division of the division? No, I'm the singles aspect of it. I think you have enough challenges there that you need to fix before we start talking about tag team situations.
Yeah. Well, for me, as we found out tonight, the finals will be Dakota Kai and Io Sky versus Raquel and Aaliyah, which I agree with you, Ben. I mean, this tag team, yes, circumstances with Sasha and Naomi caused this whole spiel of, that's the thing of stuff of random tags. They just threw that in there, which I'm like, okay, whatever. But they haven't established a tag team. But to start the establishment, I feel like Io and Dakota need to win this. They're already in a faction with Bayley. They are somewhat taking over the women's division in Raw. To establish and go with a good story for the women's tag title, I think Kai and Sky should go ahead and win this coming Monday and win the women's tag titles.
I agree.
But yeah, that's just with me. Bob Gray Jr., he said, first off, I'm wondering if that second chance four-way on Friday will lead to the winners battling Aaliyah and Raquel later in the night, or if they're facing off on Monday. Regardless, it either should be Aaliyah and Raquel winning, or dare I say it, Sonya and Natalya, with a little help from Bianca, Alexa, and Asuka. Natty and Sonya win Monday, and that sets up their ticket to Wales next Saturday, where they face the returning Sasha and Naomi. Well, a lot has went down on SmackDown, and I don't see that happening.
Everyone's still on with this Naomi and Sasha returning.
They are
because and I'll tell you why, Elio. At least in my opinion, and not that I'm excluding you from this conversation, Clay. But it's just, to me, this whole Sasha and Naomi thing has dominated every single aspect of the women's division. I have never seen such a glaring absence in the women's division as has been present since Sasha and Naomi left. Mm-hmm. Now, I don't want to open up the whole conversation again, because I feel like that's been had ad nauseum regarding the circumstances. However, how telling is it that the biggest story in women's wrestling revolves around women that aren't even there?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, to me, that in and of itself establishes the weakness of what's going on right now, and I don't know.
Yeah. I just think with everything changing, everything wise, I can see them coming back, but who knows when. honestly, who knows when? But
and I really don't think it would be at Cardiff. I think that would be like too soon. You gotta let things breathe.
I agree. Kev said nobody. It should be scrapped. They haven't established a women tag team. Just throwing people together and calling them a tag team isn't the same.
You didn't actually question.
He didn't, but
well, I know that's your pet peeve, Elio. I understand that, but I respect that answer very, very much because it is logical. It just you can't just have champions to for the sake of champions, and that's what we've had across the board for years and years and years. I mean, look at the rehab job that Triple H and company have done in the span of 4 weeks regarding 2 singles championships.
Right.
The same has to be said for the women's tag team titles, and let's face it, the women's tag team titles have no legacy and absolutely nothing to stand on to build them up.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Well, true. Willie Trader says whoever wins the belt, Naomi and Sasha will have a claim. They never lost the tag titles and going to challenge whoever is the winner. Still didn't answer the question.
Right? You know what? We need a buzzer sound every time someone does not answer the question.
I know, right? But hey. Harry Swartz, you did good. He picked Io Sky and Dakota Kai. So there's that.
Okay.
And then Darren Metzler, brother. The Iconics is a wild card entry.
What? First of all, one of them is out with because she didn't have a baby. Second, the other one, I think the other one is still Impact, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, these people. Now, granted, I understand that I'm a guest host here, so I don't want to come off as an ass.
Uh-oh.
But it's just now. But to me, 3 appearances means I'm at least in the rotation. So allow me to introduce something. When it comes to these questions, sure we can have debates on whether or not the tag team title should exist, but can we cut the stupid shit that just absolutely makes no sense? Do you have the ability to mute people from your Facebook page? Because I now, no disrespect to Metzler, but in a joking fashion, I tend to think that that's a mutable offense.
It is what it is. People are going to be people. So I like that. I mean, I like that they comment though. So that's giving us something to talk about. So that's great. And last but not least, Josh Sanders would like to see it be taken away before seriously, but Raquel and Aaliyah would be a good choice if they wanted to have babyface tag champs. I believe they should put the belts on heels and do Dakota and Io. So I think he's saying Dakota and Io.
Okay.
I'm very confused by that answer.
That's okay. We still love you, Josh. All right, now let's get into the wrestling news from around the world. First off, Jeff Jarrett has stepped down as Vice President of Live Events, and the new Vice President of Live Events is Road Dogg.
Oh, okay.
You didn't know?
Right?
Another Triple H guy. He's getting all his guys in there, you know.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Now, if we're playing devil's advocate, and this is just me shooting the shit. So the last time Road Dogg was in a position of power. That didn't end well because there was some sort of clash with Vince, I believe. I could be wrong, but I think something happened there. I could be totally off. Now, if you want to talk about storylines and different things like that, I think we're in a completely different ball game now than we were back then, because this is gonna sound weird, but I still think people are underplaying how big of a deal this change in leadership really is. I know it's been a gigantic thing. I'm not living under a rock, but we're 4 weeks in after 40 years. I mean, we're still getting our feet wet here. So obviously, Triple H is going to bring his people in.
Yeah.
Now, news-wise, these people have not been kind to Triple H's people because, and I would only assume that would be the case to Road Dogg as well, because, people have said that Shawn Michaels has always been in charge of NXT. I call complete bullshit on that. I don't know if you guys saw this story, but I laughed my ass off. I laughed my ass completely out of the wheelchair. I don't understand these people. So it's just it'll be very interesting to see, what kind of news and what kind of change that Road Dogg and company can bring in, because I know it's not possible because AEW has a lot of the former NXT Black and Gold guys. But can we get rid of this NXT 2.0? It really sucks. So my point going back to Road Dogg, just so you guys don't think I'm wandering. Hopefully by Triple H bringing in his people, this means that we'll have a return to something more reminiscent of Black and Gold.
True.
I can only hope, because quite frankly, I don't understand this 2.0 thing at all.
Right.
We'll talk about it when we get to that section of the show. But I watched NXT 2.0 for this week for the show tonight, and I gotta tell you, there were some good stuff, to be fair. But overall, I'm completely lost with 2.0. I don't understand what they're doing.
All right. We'll get to that when we go over NXT. Apparently, WWE has been trying to call AEW talent about potential returns. But head of AEW has warned Stephanie McMahon and Nick Khan to stop tampering with WWE contracted superstars. So...
And did you see the hashtag? I don't know if it was Chris or Gwen started, but did you see the hashtag?
No, I didn't.
Hashtag contract tampering.
Oh, Jesus. Well, hey, and you know what? I will kind of agree with that, because if you think about it, sports, and say you bring sports into it, you tamper with somebody on contract, that certain team that was tampering gets their ass handed to them and fines and, anything like that, and gets a bad reputation. So I kind of agree with AEW at a certain point, but you know what? Your product has been sucking lately, so why wouldn't WWE want to take advantage of it? So I'm just saying.
Especially when stars over there, some stars over there have expressed their frustrations with working for the company.
Exactly. And WWE's going to take that all in. So, hey. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. So, so going off of what you're saying, the legality of it, I'm not sure where that is. I'm not a legal expert, but it does seem like it could be a little bit of a problem if somebody wanted to pursue that that avenue. Now, it would be hard to prove tampering because to me, tampering says, okay, let me look at the contract you have with this company, and I'm going to raise your salary if you come over here.
Exactly. And that
now are they doing that? That's gonna be hard to prove, because to me there's a difference between tampering and an old friend calling you up and saying, hey bud, when's your contract expire? When are you thinking about coming over here? Because if it's that, we see that all the time, and that's not a story. So to put tampering in it, that to me, that is I hate social media, but if you want to use hashtags, that's where you put the tampering hashtag in it.
Well, of course, it had to be Chris Jericho that would send out that. I mean, he always wants to stir up the pot some way, somehow, in my opinion, especially here recently.
Well, but to me, and I am a gigantic Chris Jericho fan. Mm-hmm. I mean, to me that guy is really starting to etch his face on some Mount Rushmores of wrestling, to tell you the truth. Mm-hmm. I'm just being honest. Now, but in terms of this, isn't that what Chris Jericho was always supposed to do in AEW? Because Chris Jericho, I would argue, even more than Cody Rhodes, was like the holy shit aspect of AEW when it started. Yeah. Like Chris Jericho was always that guy. Right. So of course he's going to wave the AEW flag. So that doesn't really bother me.
Nah. Wade Barrett has signed a new 2-year deal to stay with WWE as commentator on NXT.
Oh, see, that's good news, not bad news.
That's really good news. I like him on commentary, so more Wade Barrett. And my last bit of news, apparently there is some backstage heat between Eddie Kingston and Sammy Guevara. I don't really know what all started it. All I've heard was the two got into it. Sammy called Eddie a fat piece of shit. Eddie went to swinging and going in the back, and then broke it up. Eddie got suspended for 2 weeks, and then he went on, I think it was Twitter, and said how he was wrong and this and that. And there's a bunch of drama involved with this whole situation, but this is what I just heard.
Now, to me, and Elio, I'd be very interested to get your take on this. But to me, the only word missing from what you just said is gimmick, because Sammy was saying it because they both released statements, right? So to me, that's part of Sammy's gimmick. To call Eddie a fat piece of shit. I don't have a problem with that, because we've all heard Eddie Kingston cut a promo, and I think it's great. So so the part that I find funny is, even if it was discussed that where Eddie was like, hey, don't mention my weight or whatever, I find that funny coming from Eddie, considering what has been the content of his character and his promos. Right. So that aspect of it, that's interesting to me. That seems a little sensitive. However, if it was agreed upon and Sammy still did that, we'd be having a different conversation. Right. I don't think it was that. I think it was just a case of a bad communication, and whether you love Eddie or you don't, the bottom line is you gotta save the physicality for the ring. Right. I agree 100%. Because if this is something else, Eddie's going to jail for assault. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if Sammy really wanted to push it. Now, that's the story. Now, in relation to these statements, I think both guys handled it very, very well.
Mm-hmm.
And shout out to Eddie for taking responsibility for it. I think he realizes he messed up.
Yeah.
And shout out to Sammy too, because he had a very professional response. So the bottom line is, this is the last thing I want to hear about, because this is a problem in wrestling and a lot of other places too. If you really want to get into it, people have a disagreement and it turns into a big thing.
Right.
Newsflash, people. Disagreements happen all the time.
Yeah.
You know, people get their feelings hurt, and shit it gets said, and then you know, depending on the personalities involved, it might get elevated if it's not handled properly.
Right.
You know, I mean, but that goes back to like elementary school. So the fact that this has been in the news it's almost like a joke to me. It's like, okay, somebody threw a punch. Talk about it, have a beer, and move on. Like this doesn't need to be on podcast and shit. No, I don't get that.
Yeah, I agree. That is all that I have for the news. Elio, let's get into rumors.
All right, so rumors. I got quite a few out here. So apparently, sources told me that the door is open to bring back some of the recently released NXT UK talents when NXT Europe relaunches next year. Of course, that being the list that we mentioned last week.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm not surprised you released that many guys and gals. Like, gosh dang, that was a boatload.
I even mentioned this on one of the posts I saw somewhere, and one person said, then why would they? I mentioned eventually they could find their way back to NXT Europe, and the person responded with, well, then it was stupid to release them in the first place.
No,
True.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
I'm like, okay.
It wasn't stupid. You have to think about this logically, because if a brand doesn't exist, I don't care if it's in I don't care if it's in development or whatever. If the brand isn't currently ready and you folded NXT UK, then it doesn't make sense to keep those people on contract because you're hemorrhaging money.
Yep.
If a product isn't making money, what happens? It gets pulled from the shelf. Same thing happens with people.
Yeah.
You know, it's logical business.
Right.
All right, next one. Mustafa Ali told a fan on Twitter that at one point there was a plan for him to come out to the Real American theme Hulk Hogan long used as his entrance theme.
Oh God!
No.
No, you know what?
No.
The only other team that could do that was the US Express, because that theme was initially made for them.
I agree. Yep. But yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, no, you can't. No one else can ever use that.
No, we don't. We don't need another Muhammad Hassan incident.
All right, here.
Let's be real. Mustafa Ali is too good of a guy. We don't need that.
All right, next we have Freddie Prinze Jr. discussed rumors about CM Punk's reputation at AEW, saying he's heard not everyone backstage loves CM Punk, and it's not just because of Colt Cabana. It's because of the way they feel he's behaved since he's got there behind the curtain. A lot of people don't feel like Punk shows anyone the type of dignity that one would expect at work. That's what I've been told. That's the kind of stuff that is going on. Hangman Page said a lot of real stuff.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Honestly, though, are we surprised that we're hearing this, though? I mean, Punk being that some type of person, you know, he's a good wrestler and all, but his attitude, man, it's just, it's different nowadays. Or even before that, like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the thing for me is this. One, I don't care. I'm sorry. I might piss some people off. You know, I don't know how you do things on your show most of the time, but I have to say this. Who gives a flying shit about Freddie Prinze Jr.?
Oh,
Well, you know, it's like go back to the Mystery Machine and get me some Scooby Snacks. Nobody gives a damn what Freddie Prinze Jr. has to say in this context. You had a cup of coffee in WWE. He probably had a backstage issue with CM Punk. It's like okay, like but the thing is, and I understand the controversy about CM Punk, and I'm not saying anything positive or negative about the guy. It's just the bottom line is we know the controversy that CM Punk brings to the table. We know what's going to happen when you mention CM Punk's name. Every time there's something with a negative connotation about CM Punk or Phil Brooks or whatever this kind of stuff starts. So it's almost like I don't care what the situation is. I care is CM Punk employed or is he not? And you know that's on Phil Brooks and Tony Khan. The rest of it I don't care about.
right.
All right.
All right.
Next, insiders say there's a lot of talk over the last week in WWE about calling up Solo Sikoa to the main roster, and it could happen in September.
Good. Bring him.
He's been ready. I can't wait to see my main roster.
I'm ready.
So I am too, but here's the question: does he go with the Usos?
Yes.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. So based on what he has said, based on the fact that he wants to blaze his own trail, and also based on does it make sense? Yes. Would I like to see it at some point? Yes. Are we going to see it at some point? Yes. Absolutely. But I'm just saying, because if you really think about it, this bloodline thing, it's gonna die before you know it.
Yeah.
We're 2 years into this thing, and here's another question that could have been the hot tag news: does Roman Reigns lose the championship, one or any of them at Clash of the Castle? And if he does, how long is that other title gonna last on?
Yeah.
Because to me, the second that he loses one of those titles, the clock is ticking on the entire bloodline.
Yeah.
So
I guess we'll see.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Also, there's also been talk of WWE's interest in New Japan wrestler Jonah, who previously wrestled in NXT as Bronson Reed.
Okay.
I would be completely down with that.
Yeah.
And the last rumor I have here, rumor has it that Britt Baker and Jamie Hayter legitimately don't like Thunder Rosa, partially because she works too stiff. The original plan was for Rosa to lose the AEW Women's World title at All Out before she was pulled from the show due to injury.
Wow. Interesting.
And Clay, what's your take on that?
On this whole situation?
Yeah.
I think Thunder Rosa does work too stiff. I mean, we've had the whole who was the girl that she fought with when she first got into AEW? Was it
Ivelisse?
We heard that story about Ivelisse, and everybody gave shade on her for Thunder Rosa's deal. But Thunder Rosa was a big deal coming into AEW, so I mean, nobody really looked into it. But now we're looking at all these instances where she's stepping the ring, or her shirt that said that
sandbag.
That, and I found out the quote with that from Tony and Elio. It's like, you're making fun of this, and it's not funny, especially in pro wrestling. Like, that's just not okay. And for somebody like Britt Baker to come out and say that Thunder Rosa is working too stiff, that's saying a lot because it's Britt Baker. Arguably the best women's wrestler in AEW. And I know that's not saying a lot, but
oh my God! No! Okay, all right.
What?
Okay. No.
Britt
Please.
Baker is a better in-ring worker than Thunder Rosa.
No.
absolutely.
No, she's
Yes.
not. No, she's not. Okay.
Britt Baker is better than Thunder Rosa. Change my mind.
Okay. Watch this. Watch this. Britt Baker. Well, number one, let's talk about the story because in my opinion, Thunder Rosa is miles ahead of Britt Baker. But that's just an opinion thing based on what I see. So let's just talk about the story. This is very, like I said earlier, this is very high school to me. To me, we shouldn't even be discussing this on a podcast. And look, I get it. I have my own podcast. We talk about the news, and I get all that. But to me, this kind of stuff is not productive, and it really is indicative of a much larger problem that AEW has. Because from what I heard, it was Britt Baker that started the whole sandbagging thing.
Yeah, but Thunder Rosa wore the shirt.
But hang on. No, I agree with you. I'm not saying you're wrong. I thought that was messed up myself. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying from what I've heard, Britt Baker was the one that started the sandbagging thing. So Thunder Rosa wore that shirt in retaliation to take the steam from Britt Baker.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'm saying. This whole thing is very juvenile to me.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds like the only legitimate part of that story is that those two women have issues with each other. It sounds like there's a lot of egos and a lot of bruised feelings going on.
Mm-hmm.
And it might be leaking out too much, and as long as those two women keep it professional in the ring, I don't really care about anything else. The fact that there were rumors that Thunder Rosa got suspended and whatever the hell else. No, she did not get suspended. We would have heard about that.
Mm.
It would have been widely known. There wouldn't be any of this. Oh, Thunder Rosa was hiding in the bathroom after she broke Jamie Hayter's nose. Please, just stop. Just stop.
Yeah, I will agree with you on that, but
Yeah.
Britt's better than Thunder. I'm not going to change my mind.
but okay.
And we have different opinions. That's all good. This is all this show. It's all great.
Yes, but let's just have a little bit of fun here. And I'm not arguing with you. I
know. It's all good. It's all good.
I just want to hear your take. What is it about Britt Baker that makes you believe that she's better than Thunder Rosa?
She's realistic. I mean, to me, in a ring, like how she goes with everything, her character, her promos. I just feel like she has a connection with the audience that Thunder Rosa really doesn't have that connection. Sometimes
And it's a heel.
And she's a better heel. Like and I'm not saying Thunder Rosa is a bad wrestler. I'm not going to say that. I just feel like Britt's got the more it factor than Thunder Rosa does. So that's just my opinion.
Well, the it factor is a legit argument with Britt Baker because there is something to Britt Baker. I absolutely agree. There's a lot of the character that I do enjoy about Britt Baker. So
Right.
I'm with you there. So, but in the ring, to me, and I'm not talking shit on anybody. This is just how I feel about the subject. But
All good.
to me, Britt Baker is like the female John Cena in terms of moveset.
Okay.
Because I feel like it's the same match every single time. You're gonna get certain moves, and she's very good at what she does.
Mm-hmm.
No argument there. She is very, very good at what she does, and the level of improvement that she's shown since she started with AEW, I'm a fan of that.
Right.
You know, if you improve that much, that shows me dedication to your craft, and I have nothing but respect for that.
Right.
It's just, but for me, it's like I can almost predict segment by segment what is going to happen with Britt Baker.
Okay. Then that's all good. Elio, is that all you have for rumors?
That's all I got for rumors, yes.
All right, let's go into injury. I have a couple. Go ahead and go to the topic. Thunder Rosa is actually hurt. She has a disc issue in her back. So she's going to be out indefinitely with that. And Gigi Dolan apparently got a concussion on SmackDown. So not this week, but last week. So that's the reason why Toxic Attraction was out of the women's tag tournament. So prayers for both of them to get back to wrestling and get better with their injuries. And now we're going into the hot tag news this week. Ben, you came to us with this question. Is this whole thing between CM Punk and Adam Page legit, or is it the story? So I'm going to go to you guys first before I go to the comments, because honestly, there's one comment in particular I have on here that I have a lot to say about, and I'm not too happy.
Okay. Well, that's one hell of a cliffhanger, ladies and gentlemen. Jesus Christ. That's what we call a lead in the news business. We're supposed to follow that. All right.
All right. So what do you guys think? Is it a shoot, or is it a work?
Elio, you want to take this one first? Because I might go for a minute, and I feel like I'm talking too much. So you want to go first?
All right. So, it's hard to say. You know what? I'm gonna say it feels like a shoot, because we talked about this last week. It feels like the summer of Punk in 2011, and this feels like summer of Punk 2022. It's like he made his AEW debut on August 20th of last year. And the first thing he said in his promo? He said, "There's a lot of talent back there that I can't wait to work with, and people in this company actually listen."
Right.
And now a year later, why are you unhappy? What's the problem?
Yeah, I agree.
Like they even said, I read where he almost walked out on the Dynamite taping. Why?
So I agree.
So I'm gonna say that this is a shoot, because it seems like this guy's never happy, and it's a pattern that he has going. I
agree. All right, Ben, what's your take?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think it has elements of a shoot and elements of a work, very much like the whole MJF business that led him to being out up until now.
Right.
Because I can see that this would logically be something that would lead to a match between the two of them. But at the same time, it doesn't make a lot of sense, and it really calls into question a lot of what AEW is doing on the world title front.
Right.
The one aspect of it that kind of makes me laugh is like people are like, oh my God, is this a repeat of MJF and CM Punk, or is MJF going to come in and help one of them screw the other one, and which one is it going to be? So, is this going to lead to the return of Long Island's favorite son? So that part makes me think work.
Okay.
What makes me sort of dubious and like this might be egos clashing. The beginning of Punk's promo last week, where he called Paige a coward, the way that came off was completely out of place with the rest of the promo because it was supposed to be Punk and Moxley cutting a promo.
Yes, it had nothing to do with Paige.
Yep.
Like nothing whatsoever. So to me, as a viewer, regardless of the story behind it, immediately I was confused. Like, okay, what the is this? Because Paige has nothing to do with Punk and Moxley, and then in the next breath, Punk is doing snow angels in the middle of the ring waiting for John Moxley. So the whole thing just kind of threw me off a little bit.
Yeah. Oh, I agree 100%. There.
But then again, not to repeat myself, but I think people may be reading a little bit too much into this stuff because there's a lot of drama going on in AEW, real or imagined. And to me, the timing of all this stuff is very interesting.
Yeah.
Because, we really didn't hear about it for a long, long time. Everything was happy. Everything was, oh my God, AEW was so awesome. AEW is such a wonderful place to work. And look, if it is for certain people, that's wonderful. If you're happy, and that's great.
Right.
But this is a business just like anything else. There are going to be disgruntled employees. There's going to be back and forth, between people, and let's be honest with each other right here. Professional wrestling is a soap opera, and unfortunately, sometimes the soap operas spills to the back, and I find it very interesting because WWE is on an upswing, and now you're starting to hear reports of Tony Khan being difficult, the talent being difficult. There's backstage meetings taking place where different wrestlers are speaking. Sammy Guevara is getting pie-faced by Eddie Kingston. Eddie Kingston's a fat piece of shit. And all this stuff. The lines are starting to blur between reality and professional wrestling. So it's really hard for me, and I would assume for any other fan, to be like, well, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
So a lot of it is, okay, well, that's professional wrestling, and it is what it is. But if there is legitimate real life stuff that's interfering with business, I don't care who's in charge back there. Somebody's got to be like, cut the shit. Because
I agree.
The bottom line is the money, and if something comes between the business and everybody involved making money and AEW's success, at the end of the day, cut the shit.
Yep. Yeah, I agree with this. For me, going back to the whole CM Punk promo, like putting in Adam Page like that during a Moxley and Punk promo, I felt like that part was a shoot. But in this whole situation, it's starting to become a work. It's starting to become a storyline, in my opinion, how this is going.
Absolutely.
With Punk losing the title like that, who knows what's going on behind the scenes? Who knows what's going on with these storylines? They're just, I don't know, they're all over the place right now. Maybe they'll get Punk and Page in a storyline to go around with this beef and blah. And who really knows? Honestly,
Like,
what's going on?
I said last week, where I was confused. Like, are we getting 2 matches with Moxley and Punk? Apparently, they're still going ahead with the All Out.
I guess. I don't know.
It makes no sense. I don't know, unless they give it back to Punk or something. I don't know.
It wouldn't make any sense. We could talk about that when we talk about Dynamite, but this whole Page and Punk deal,
yeah,
I think it's in between. Like, it's a work for some parts, but it's not like all of it's a shoot. It's, something like that. Yeah. So I guess we'll see. I don't know. But let's go to the comments. Darren Metzler, it started as one, but is a storyline now. So basically what I just said. If it weren't, Punk would have been reprimanded. I'm sorry. If AEW lets going into business for oneself allowable, that company will quickly become WCW 2.0.
Oh, which is pretty much along the same lines of what I said. I agree.
Yeah. Okay. Josh Sanders, I don't think it's a work. After the way he left WWE, dude is toxic. He wanted to be treated as a superstar like The Rock and John Cena, but couldn't live to be the good. Then really showed how legit he is by getting his ass kicked in the UFC. Not a fan of him. Huh?
Okay.
I personally, the thing that throws that comment off is you cannot compare professional wrestling to the UFC.
Yeah.
Because getting your ass kicked in a real fight is very different than egos in the ring, because, regardless, professional wrestling is a partnership, and if in the fight game, you really are going into business for yourself.
Yeah.
Whereas if you do that in wrestling, you're really going to get somebody fucked up.
That's true. Sean Fant said it's a shoot. They really don't like each other. Okay. Douglas Curtin said it's probably true. They don't like each other, but their animosity has been turned into a work because that's how wrestling works. Oh, okay. Honestly, it would be hard for a wrestler like Punk to respect a guy like a generic cowboy gimmick in modern 2022. So, I don't know.
All right.
James Kukin said both mediocre. So answer the question.
What? Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Whoa. Okay. Say what you want about the egos of these two people, but these two guys are not mediocre.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
No. Yeah. No. CM Punk was never mediocre. CM Punk, like I said, regardless of the backstage politics and the disagreements and the egos in the ring, CM Punk was and still is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
And Paige, because I was not sold on Paige to begin with. The cowboy shit was getting a little bit stale to me.
Yeah.
So the gimmick, not a fan. But in the ring, that guy can go.
Yeah, I agree. But next time to answer the question. At the end of the day. And my last comment that pissed me off. Okay. Jay LeBlanc.
Oh,
and I don't even want to say your fucking name on this show, dude. That's how pissed off I am at you.
Oh.
He comments, if you are seriously asking about that question, you need to rethink your love for pro wrestling. It's fake. It's all fake. Things like this are done because of a lot of wrestling fans are stupid. This is how they draw interest. These fans nowadays care too much about whether shit's real or not, and not nearly enough on actual storyline. Bro, I'm going to tell you something right fucking now. If you're on a pro fucking wrestling page and you're liking all this, get the fake shit off. Do not ever say fucking fake.
And
Say
if you're
scripted.
if you're calling wrestling fans stupid, get the fuck off the page altogether.
Exactly. Thank you, Elio. That's where I was going with. This kind of bullshit to me is what is wrong with pro wrestling fans.
Yep.
Yeah.
You guys tear each other down. We're all supposed to be one. Somebody asks a legit question on the show to see what others, want or think or whatever. And this is what this show is all about. And you go ahead and say, oh, well, things like this are stupid. Motherfucker, fuck you. All right? That's exactly what I'm saying. I don't give a fuck no more. You really legitimately piss me off. You're a fucking mark. I don't ever want you commenting on this show, period. So if you're going to do that comment, don't even say it, because that is uncalled for. And that's how I'm going up with it. I'm shaking mad because this kind of shit just aggravates the piss out of me.
Well, first and foremost, what and Clay, I'm gonna address you in just a minute. But first and foremost, what's this guy's name again?
Jay LeBlanc.
Okay, well, Jay, let me introduce myself to you because I was the one who suggested that topic of conversation. I was asked to come up with a question for the show. I'm not even a regular host on this show. These two guys asked me to come on here to participate in the show. This is my third time on the show. So I came up with a question to help them out to drive conversation. So my name is Ben, your name's Jay, but I gotta tell you something, Jay. I don't like the way that you're coming off right here, because to me, you're listening to a show whose job it is to entertain you and to discuss wrestling.
Yep.
First of all, if you're listening to this show, and thank you, gentlemen, for having me on. First of all, that I'm not really sure why you're on here, because it really seems like you're attacking us, and by extension, and what I find funny, Jay, you're listening to the show, so that makes you a fan.
Yep.
Number one. Number two, you took time to respond to my question, which you deemed stupid.
Yep.
So what does that say about you?
Yeah. That's just with me. Like anybody that comments on the show, I am, even though sometimes we say, oh, that wasn't the question, or make fun of you for it. You know what? You're commenting, you're putting in context for our show. I appreciate it. I really do. And Tony may say, opposite at times, but he really truly means that. If you guys take the time, comment, and social, be social with us, because at the end of the day, we're all pro wrestling fans. And when I see comments like this, I don't like it. That tears down everybody. It's like, how dare you?
Like I follow a bunch of wrestling content on TikTok. I see this all the time, like these comments.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
So for me, let me just say something to you, Clay. I wouldn't give this guy the time of day.
I know.
But I'm not trying to lecture you, but it's just I'm the one that kind of has to take the heat for this, I guess, because I'm the one that suggested the question. So I don't want you to get upset. So that's why I'm addressing Jay. And like I said, I don't want to say anything too over the line, because I'm a guest on your show, and I genuinely appreciate coming on here and chatting you guys up. I think we've become friendly acquaintances at this point.
Right.
but it's just I have to ask you, Jay, what's your point?
Mm-hmm.
We're asking a pertinent question about something big that's going on in wrestling, something that might have bearing on AEW's biggest show of the goddamn year, and you're calling us stupid.
Basically.
So does that mean you're stupid right along with us because you're listening to us right now?
It's and I agree 100% with you. It should. People like this shouldn't be even mentioned, or because that's what they are. They're fucking trolls. That's all. I mean, I agree 100%. It shouldn't be even said, but it really aggravated me to somebody that I know, especially that ask a legit question, and you have to go out like that. Like, I will defend anybody. I'm one of the nicest dudes you could ever meet, and it's just that's it.
And this is the third time we're interacting, and for you to get that heated on somebody else's behalf, let alone mine, I appreciate that. But that's why I'm saying, let me take the heat for this, and it's fine. This kind of shit does not bother me one iota. My only question is, you're listening to us. It's not the other way around. So really, what side of what did you expect to happen from this, Jay? When you make a comment like that, and I don't know you I don't know you. You don't know us. So I'm not gonna rip you. I'm not gonna rip you a new one. I'm not gonna cuss at you or anything like that. I'm going to ask a rhetorical question. What was your point? Because I'm not seeing it.
I agree. All right, guys, let's take a break, shall we?
Okay.
Sounds good.
All right. When we come back,
calm down, Clay.
I'm all good. I got my Pepsi. I'm all great.
You need a coffee? I got the machine here. I'll get it running right now.
I know, right? When we come back, we got This Week in Wrestling.
Hi, I'm WWE superstar Charlotte Flair, also known as the Queen, and listen to Wrestling POV podcast and always do it with Flair. Woo!
This is the hardcore legend Mick Foley, and you are listening to the Wrestling POV podcast.
Hey guys, this is Kevin Owens. Make sure to listen to the Wrestling POV podcast. Take it easy, guys. Maybe I'll end up on your show one day, who knows? But if I do, I'll probably end up taking the whole thing over, and then it won't really be your show anymore. So maybe it's not a good idea. Who knows? We'll see how that works.
All right, and we are back. And fans, if you want to get a T-shirt, do me a favor. Go get one with some style that has some style. Go to prowrestlingtees.com/wrestling POV. You have 7 different designs to choose from, $19.99 each. Again, that's prowrestlingtees.com/wrestling POV. Now it's time to get into This Week in Wrestling.
Look at me, Tony! Look at me! You fucking mark!
All right, let's get into it. But first, we have another fantasy matchup for you guys. As we said
We
last
do.
week.
Oh my God, this one.
As we said last week on the show, we were going to do a matchup between me and Ben. We're doing tag teams this week. I had old school and Ben picked the new school. Neither one of us know which one the other picked, except Elio is the only one on this planet that knows. So what are the results, Elio, for next week's fantasy
All
matchup?
right, so we're going to start with Ben's new school pick, the Briscoe brothers.
Oh.
Versus Clay's old school pick, the Road Warriors.
Oh, I like it.
That's a great matchup.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay.
That's how you book tag team wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. Take notes. That's how it's done.
I like it. So that will be next week's post for the next fantasy matchup. So let's go right into Monday Night Raw for this week. I'll start off with high points. High points, I had Finn Balor versus Dolph Ziggler. Yep. A very good, intense match between these guys. Really enjoyed it. Kevin Owens versus Chad Gable. The guys, Kevin Owens back with the whole Titantron thing, the taped up shirt, man. KO, back. It's an old KO. I freaking love it. And this match was good too. I also gave a high point to Edge versus Damian Priest at the main event. Thought this was really good.
Did you see the after Rob went off the air?
Where Edge's comment about retiring and all?
Yep.
Yeah, I did. I mean, hey, he's getting up there in age. He has really nothing left to prove.
Mhm.
So I'm looking forward to it. And he does deserve like another year-long run, kind of like, a celebration of him. So happy for this match. Edge doing the Canadian Destroyer. I didn't think he still had that in him, but he pulled it off pretty well. And my last bit of high points, Johnny Wrestling makes his return to Monday Night Raw. This was great. And how they came out with Theory, the whole try to get the way back, and then Johnny super kicks him. It was awesome. So I was glad to see him coming back. I did have a couple of low points. I had Dakota Kai and Io Sky versus Alexa Bliss and Asuka.
Okay.
To me, this match should have been better than what I was expecting. Like, I was expecting this to be a really good match. I'm not going to diss any of them because they did really good in the match. It just wasn't as good as I thought it would be. So that's why I gave it a low point. And I gave a low point to Aaliyah versus Bayley. Now, not necessarily Bayley. Aaliyah is not on Bayley's level. And her first match back, and you throw her Aaliyah, it didn't fit right to me. I just didn't really enjoy the match. So I had to give that one a low point. But that's all that I had for Raw. What'd you guys have?
Aaliyah, you want to
go? Okay. So, I had the same low points. I had the Bayley versus Aaliyah, and I had the tag team match, Io Sky and Dakota. But I did like the opening segment with Trish Stratus.
I did too.
That part was good. That part was a high point. Finn Balor and Dolph Ziggler, Chad Gable, Kevin Owens, Bobby Lashley, AJ Styles with the whole Dexter Lumis back, and he did even more. He kidnapped the Miz.
I know, right?
So, and great. Of course, you have to give Johnny Gargano the high point as well. But now, I'm wondering, see, the Miz and Ciampa are teamed up. Are we going to get Johnny Gargano teaming up with Ciampa to try and rescue the Miz?
I don't know, because
not when it comes to the Miz. God, please. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Last high point, Damian Priest match.
Gotcha.
I'm done.
Absolutely. And by and large, I have to say I agree with Clay. Complete clean sweep on high points and low points. You nailed them all. I don't have to add anything to that. The thing about Dexter Lumis storyline, I'm really glad that he's going after the Miz and not AJ Styles.
Yeah,
because to me, AJ Styles doesn't need that. Like, that's just, it doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Now, in terms of a matchup, I would love to see Dexter Lumis versus AJ Styles, but that kind of story for AJ Styles doesn't make any sense.
Right.
So to kidnap the Miz, I find that funny. But here's the other thing. I hate the fact that the Miz is with Ciampa. I hate it. Now this may be a few weeks old, but I think it bears repeating based on this potential, based on this pairing and based on this storyline.
Okay.
Road Dogg, conveniently enough, had tweeted several weeks ago that he thinks the pairing between the Miz and Ciampa is great because the Miz gives Ciampa a rub of relevancy to push him to the next level.
Yeah.
No. Don't.
I agree with that.
Hey, you know what? I gave you a pass earlier in the show, but Clay,
We're in trouble, Clay.
the $50 man is going to get downgraded to the 5-cent man. You said that you agree with this shit. No, because I mean this with all sincerity of my wrestling fandom heart. Fuck this pair. To me, putting Ciampa on the level of The Miz is downgrading Ciampa.
Ooh.
Because I mean this very seriously. The Miz is great in his role, and I take nothing away from what The Miz has accomplished. I'm not a fan of his in the ring, but on the mic and in terms of what he has accomplished and where he came from, nothing against The Miz, but just in terms of what Ciampa means to NXT Black and Gold, in terms of the matches that he had, in terms of the legacy, in terms of the heel work that he did, I think that is some of the best produced WWE material that has ever been put on under the WWE umbrella. So for Road Dogg to say that Ciampa needs a rub from the fucking Miz, you know what? I take offense to that.
Okay.
Hang on, one more sentence, and then I promise. But I find it very rich, especially considering the source. Road Dogg, the man who sat at Triple H's side and helped him build up NXT Black and Gold, you are going to downgrade one of NXT's greatest accomplishments by saying he needs the rub of elevation from the fucking Miz. Are you kidding me? The man who has made a gimmick out of his giant, manhood is going to be put in the same sentence as the Blackheart Tommaso Ciampa. Are you shitting me?
Well, going to Elio's question, I think just because like Johnny Gargano is a babyface right now, going show big time babyface, and Ciampa's doing his thing with Miz, and he's a heel. I just don't see it pairing right now. Maybe in a couple of years down the line, maybe they would bring back DIY, but who knows at this point? You know what I mean?
Just not right now. Well, let's stay on topic.
Right.
Because
I'm getting there. Okay. As much as I love Ciampa, and I do like The Miz. Now, I will agree on Road Dogg's comment in this one part, okay? Wrestling-wise, no. Ciampa, I will agree with you on that. Ciampa does not need a rub from The Miz for wrestling-wise. I'm saying character-wise, Miz knows how to do an audience. Babyface, or not really babyface, but like more of a heel sort of thing. Ciampa as a heel doesn't really say that much on the mic, okay, to make them hate him or, that sort of thing. It takes a lot for somebody to hate a guy like Ciampa. So why I think they paired him with Miz is to help him be hated right now since he's playing a heel. So I could see why he needs that kind of rub from the Miz because let's face it, Miz is one of the most hated heels in WWE today. Like, let's just say that.
Well, that part's true, but to me, and you put it like that does make sense. I'm not saying I like it, but your argument is well placed. But to me, a guy on the level of Ciampa doesn't need a mouthpiece at all. Because if you're going to give him one, I would rather it be somebody like Paul Heyman, because to me, Ciampa's character is a psychopath.
Right.
You know, I don't need to be associating the Miz's unit with a psychopath like Tommaso Ciampa. Now all joking aside, there's a tendency in professional wrestling to say that somebody either needs to be a heel or a babyface.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand that argument entirely when you're talking about a certain match dynamic.
Right.
Like if you're talking about somebody like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, then he does need a heel on the other side of the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who made his bones as just a pure ass kicking wrestler, I don't think that he needs to be on, a baby face or a heel spectrum.
Right.
There's certain talent that transcend that, and to me, Tommaso Ciampa is one of them. And the fact of the matter is this, whatever your opinion is, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT have always, to this point, before Triple H, been very separated. It's like we're not supposed to recognize that people were on NXT before they were on WWE, whether it's because they have a name change, like Dewdrop from Pyro Nevin, or any other person that you want to bring up. There's some sort of separation between the main roster and NXT that I've always disagreed with. But but somebody like Tommaso Ciampa, I feel like people are gonna know Tommaso Ciampa's history, and if you're like me, now granted I'm a hardcore NXT guy, but somebody like me is up here shaking their heads like, what the fuck is he doing with the Miz? and that's just where I'm at with it.
Yep. All right. Overall, I gave Raw a B+ this week. Ben, what'd you give it?
I would have to agree with you wholeheartedly. The fact that Raw is wrestling centric again, and we're getting superstars that mention the word wrestling, it warms my heart.
Right.
But, all jokes aside, it is so refreshing to see the changes that have taken place. Now, are they major changes so far? I wouldn't say they're major. However, they are very noticeable to a person like us who watch wrestling so much. And for me, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but my love of WWE goes back so far and is so deep. I'm sorry. I hit my own horn. I'm sorry. But it's just my love and appreciation for wrestling and what WWE brought to the table for so long. It was such that it hurt me to see WWE in the state that it's been in for so long under Vince. Now, scandal aside, other factors aside, I have said for years that it's time for Vince to go.
Right.
So I am so beyond thrilled that wrestling matters again, and that it's fun.
Right.
Like I'm enjoying watching Raw and SmackDown, and I can't remember the last time I actually enjoyed something on the WWE scale to this level.
All right. What was your overall grade for the show?
I already said B plus.
B plus.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Elio, what'd you give it?
I'm going with B plus as well.
All right, straight across the board. We're going right into NXT. I'll start off with high points. I gave it to the Dyad versus Legado del Fantasma.
Right, and we never give the Dyad a high point.
No, but you know what? I dig this match. I did.
Yeah.
I mean, no, they needed the win. I was happy to see it, and I was so happy to see everybody in Legado del Fantasma is going with Santos Escobar to the main roster.
Yeah, that was such a relief. Thank the wrestling gods. Let us hold our hands in appreciation and prayer. Thank you.
Yes. And Elio, I think this is going to surprise you for a high point. I gave it to Wendy Chu versus Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah, the conversion is complete.
Now, time out. I knew you were going with this. Now, let me tell you something, okay? This match was good. This was a brand new Wendy Chu, and I appreciated that. Not coming out with the whole onesie bullshit, not doing the whole pillow thing, which she kind of did with the Legos. Okay, that was cool. This was a serious Wendy Chu. This was about to beat Tiffany's ass, Wendy Chu. I liked it. Now, if she goes back to the gimmick this week, I'm still not going to like her. But the match itself was really good. I really enjoyed this main event. And Tiffany Stratton,
we fully convert you, but you're semi-converted.
If she sticks with this gimmick, then yes, I will. If it's seriousness, I will. But this if she goes back to smiling and sleeping all the time and blah, no, I won't do it. I can't do it. But
you need to rest.
But this match was good, so I had to give it a high point. Low points I gave to Briggs and Jensen versus Gallus.
And you know what? That surprised me because I love Gallus. When I first started watching UK, I wasn't a fan of theirs, but then they won the tag team championships. They started growing on me, and I started becoming a fan. So it surprises me that. But then again, I think this was thrown together like too soon.
Yeah, I agree. It just happened last week, or 2 weeks ago, and then this week it was what's brought. But then the other tag teams got involved. It all became a big clusterfuck, and it was like
I hate when there's a match with no ending.
Exactly. It's nothing to it. It's like you wasted my time with this.
Yeah.
So I just go ahead.
But that's but isn't that a classic WWE-ism? Like
sometimes
they do that a little too much, I think.
Yeah. And then my other low point was Cameron Grimes versus Javier Bernal. Jobber match. Grimes wins. This whole Joe Gacy thing. I hope and pray that Cameron doesn't get involved with this. I really don't.
I don't get this whole Javier Bernal. He's featured more on NXT Level Up, and even that I've dropped out of.
Yeah, I know. I don't get it. A couple of side notes that I had. Excuse me. The whole Grayson Waller segment. Okay, with Apollo Crews. He mentions the accent. That was great. Like, yeah, didn't you have an accent? And then Apollo does the old Jamaican accent or whatever, African accent or whatever it was.
Did you catch the reference, though?
Yes, I did.
Nigerian, yeah.
No, Nigerian. There we go.
But did you catch the reference?
To that?
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Triple H said the same thing to Kofi Kingston. Didn't she used to have an accent?
Oh, yes. Okay. I got where you're going there. Yeah. That's the first thing I thought of. I understand what you're saying now. And my other side note, this Mako Satomura, okay?
That's her name, yep.
And it's NXT UK.
Yep.
I'm sorry, and I'm not going to, bash her or nothing, but I've never heard of her.
No, you know what? Neither have I. Until she debuted in UK, I had never heard of her.
Well, they're saying her legacy and this and that. I had to look her up. I knew she was in UK, but I've never seen her anywhere else. So I'm like, what is this big legacy that everybody's talking about? No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm just like, who is this woman? And my other side note, Did you guys notice in the back who this Charlie character was Andre Chase? You know who he is?
No.
William Regal's son.
Oh yes, Bailey Matthews. Yep. Charlie Dempsey. He was the other name that I couldn't think of the other week that was being rumored to be called up to the main roster.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was surprised. At first when I saw this guy, I didn't know, and then I looked him up more, and it was William Regal's son. I'm like, oh wow, okay, now I see the resemblance. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's a cool little Easter egg.
Yeah, so he was the other one that was rumored to be called up to NXT.
Oh wow, huh?
Yep.
That is all that I had for NXT. Elio, what'd you have?
Okay, so from the high points, I had the Wendy Chu, Tiffany Stratton. Also, the Ron Wagner Tyler Bate match.
Yeah, that was decent.
And for low point, the Gallus and Jensen and Briggs match. I didn't like the Grayson Waller effect. I mean, it was funny. Like he did the whole thing with Apollo, but still, the whole segment the segment as a whole, I didn't really like.
I agree.
And the whole Cameron Grimes, Xavier Bernal, and the Indy Hartwell Blair Davenport match.
That was another
bad
match, I think.
Those are my high points, low points.
All right, Ben, what'd you have?
Okay, now before I get into my high points and low points, just so your viewers understand, I am not a regular NXT 2.0 viewer. I tried it. I watched the first episode and it's like I can't do this. So I've seen a few episodes for the purpose of our podcast and this one when there's big things going on. So this was really the first episode that I've seen in its entirety in quite a while for the purposes of tonight. So let me just say that. So I'm not familiar with everything on this show. But I did, for a high point, I really enjoyed the Tiffany Stratton Wendy Chu match, which surprised the hell out of me because Elio knows this from our show. Wendy Chu does absolutely nothing for me.
Oh, hey!
Boo! Ladies and gentlemen, this is Ben's last episode.
Well, I think we'll have to ask Clay and Tony on that one. But do you know the hell that I can raise with you just for saying that? Because when we get back on our territory, woohoo, you are in deep shit. But in all seriousness, so the Wendy Chu and Tiffany Stratton was very, very good, and I was very surprised because I don't get either one. I don't really get either one of these characters. Tiffany Stratton has gotten better in the ring from the last time I saw her.
She has.
The gimmick really throws me off, though. Both gimmicks really throw me off. Now the one part of the match that you mentioned with the Legos, I didn't really like that. I like the idea, especially with in the pillow and stuff. It kind of reminded me of like Missy Hyatt's purse and stuff like that. That's kind of cool. But the execution of it didn't come off well because the first slam completely missed the Legos.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And then Tiffany Stratton kind of rolled into the Legos. Why would you roll into Legos? If you missed, then you got lucky. You don't roll into the Legos. Who want? Ow.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
But I mean, we all know from our childhood, you step on a Lego, that shit hurts.
Yes, it does.
It does.
Why? Why would you voluntarily roll into the Legos? I hope Tiffany Stratton got a pay raise for that. Now Now the other aspect of this, well, not this, but my other high point was not necessarily the match, but I really like the fact that Tyler Bate is coming to the U.S. version of NXT. So I was happy to see him. Now, low points wise, I'm with Elio. I really didn't understand this whole Grayson Waller and Apollo Crews segment. I kind of feel bad for Apollo Crews because I feel like he's been such a missed opportunity, but I don't know what you can do to rehab him. And this segment certainly didn't help. Only because of getting called out on the accent.
Yeah.
I mean, he was right to call him out, and it was funny. But why would you put Apollo Crews in that position? That doesn't make him look good. Plus,
I have a question for you guys. Have you guys seen Commander Aziz lately?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. Did you?
Well, I saw online his new
the plans.
I haven't seen it.
His plans are to be paired with Cora Jade as like her bodyguard.
Really?
Let's be real, okay? Because I'm gonna get to Cora Jade in 1 second, because there's something that I want from a few weeks ago on NXT that I want to ask you guys about.
Okay.
But yeah, and then the other glaring low point was Gallus and Briggs and Jensen, because I was really enjoying that match, and then the end just completely took me out of it. I was like, what the hell? Now just like with this version of NXT, I am not overly familiar with NXT UK. But I have seen some the bigger matches, like Ilya Dragunov versus Walter and Walter versus Pete Dunne, and oh my God, they made me happy for joy. So I do have an appreciation for the more badass side of NXT UK, and I think Gallus falls into that category. And and they did bring up their very long run with the NXT UK tag team titles, and so that being said, they were having a good match up to the DQ, but really, are you going to put that team in that position? I mean, really?
Yeah.
I mean, good God. Let's not do that again.
Right.
So I kind of felt bad for Gallus in that department, and I have to ask you guys a legit question, because like I said, I'm not really up on NXT recently. What is going on with oh God, I'm blanking on the name.
Cora Jade?
No, well, that too, but but Cameron. Let's start with Cameron Grimes, because I'm confused as hell.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I mean, he was in a storyline with Ted DiBiase. He was doing some really good stuff. Even before that, and now he's with doing something with the Dyad, which makes no sense at all.
Yeah, basically he had that with DiBiase, and then he had a couple good matches. Then he got the North American title, ran a little bit with the North American title, then lost it, and now he's fighting for his dad and that sort of thing. And now he's trying different, they're trying different things with him, and now all of a sudden he's getting involved with Gacy's group, and they're trying to recruit him, and he needs to be on the main roster. Just bottom line, there's not much more that he can do in NXT.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So I was confused. Now the other high point that I agree with you on is the Diaz match. Now, let me say, I really did enjoy that match, but the gimmick sucks.
Yeah.
Good God, you know, I really thought that it was a mistake by NXT, number one, to put the Grizzled Young Veterans in that position because, you know, I mean, goddamn, these are the Grizzled Young Veterans, for fuck's sake. They're great.
Right.
You know, call them up and put them in a tournament. They'll dominate shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, put them against Imperium, and, you know, and drop this little big Kaiser and Gunther bullshit and put them in the ring with Walter. Put Walter, Marcel Martel, and Fabian Eichner, aka whatever the fuck his name, Giovanni.
Oh, I like him, Giovanni Vinci. Come on.
I like him too. I like Giovanni Vinci.
No, I like him. It's just, but Fabian Eichner was a complete. I'm not saying Giovanni Vinci is bad,
right?
But Fabian Eichner was a complete badass, and the performer behind them both is a fucking world class wrestler. So I'm really not getting that. But getting back to the Grizzled Young Veterans, it's just why I don't understand that. And plus, you know, I don't know how up you guys are with ROH, but ROH was in my backyard before Tony Khan bought them, and they have a very similar gimmick that they've been running with to the Dyad, which is why I was like, what the hell? They have the Righteous, which is kind of similar to the Dyad. So it's like, okay. You know, and the thing is, I thought when Parker Boudreaux got released from NXT, I was like, oh, that's a mistake. But actually, with this current gimmick that Joe Gacy has, you know, I think Parker Boudreaux escaped. I really do. You know, it's just, there's so many great pieces that WWE has in place that if they just tweaked it a little bit, that's why I'm excited to have Triple H in control, because I'm hoping that the changes that he brings to Raw and SmackDown will eventually trickle down to NXT, because this version of 2.0 just sucks. I can't do it.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, I gave NXT 2.0 a C this week. Elio, what'd you give it?
So I went with the C as well.
Oh, all right. Ben, what's your overall?
I'm gonna go with a C minus. I wasn't feeling it.
All right, let's go to Dynamite with Elio.
All right, so Dynamite. Let me pull up the results here. And
Elio,
high points.
You have this already. Come on.
High points. I've got Death Triangle and Aussie Open.
Great match.
Oh,
and
fantastic.
I got Jay Lethal and Dax Harwood and Ricky Starks' promo.
Yes, for sure. Good.
For low points, I've got the opening segments.
Okay.
And I also have a Colton Gunn and Billy Gunn and Britt Baker and Colin King.
I agree with that there. I agree. Yeah, it was same for me for high points. I had Death Triangle I put the United Empire. It was a great match, great main event. I love it.
Why are they called Aussie Open? If the United Empire is called United Empire.
It sounds so much better than Aussie Open. It sounds like I'm watching tennis. Like, no. I'm watching pro wrestling, and that name United Empire, that's sick, you know? So I had to give that a high point. Dax Harwood versus Jay Lethal, great match. Jay Lethal teaming with the Motor City Machine Guns in the trios match. That would be interesting.
It looks like AEW and Impact still have a working relationship.
Sounds like it. So that's that. Low points I gave to Colton Gunn versus Billy Gunn. Just like you, Elio. This was dumb. The low blow to beat your 50-something-year-old dad, like you really, like you had to do that.
I just don't get it.
I don't either. I don't understand where the storyline is going. And my last low point: CM Punk versus John Moxley.
Oh, 3 minutes.
3 fucking minute match. You hype this throughout your whole show, okay? And you do a 3-minute match for the AEW World Title, and then you're wanting to try to do it at All Out? What is that showing anybody? And then you give this whole thing about, oh, well, Punk is still hurt and blah, blah, blah. Then if that's the case, then why even throw that main event there? You have there's no sense of this booking right now. This whole thing of what we said earlier with this whole Moxley Punk, and if you want to throw Adam Page in there too, like it makes no sense where this is going. If you have a week to prep this All Out pay-per-view, and right now your main event is garbage. It doesn't make any sense. You're going to have to prove a lot in next week's Dynamite for me to be actually interested in Moxley versus Punk.
And what baffles me is that I saw earlier this week, did this show got over 1 million?
Really?
Well, yeah.
Wow.
Well, to me, not to cut you off, Elio, and I swear I was done. I won't go on a rant till you guys are done with your bits, because I might take up some airtime. But Elio, you're very familiar with my rants. But it's just I'm completely lost to say the least. And just like you said, Clay, it really makes absolutely no sense. So it's just with All Out, because I looked at the lineup before I came on the show.
Is there more than 3 matches?
Yeah, they have like eight matches announced now, not including the main event. And let me tell you something. In all fairness, this card looks fantastic. On paper, it does. My problem, and I'm gonna say this, and it's gonna piss people off, and I apologize to Wrestling POV fandom if I rub you guys the wrong way, because I'm a guest host and I'm not trying to ruffle any feathers at this point in time. However, this right here is the worst built up AEW pay-per-view to date. You have had so many opportunities and so many great matches on Dynamite to build this up, and this is what you do. Yeah, you're using backstage bullshit to which I believe partially is real. We discussed that earlier. We don't have to get into it again. But you're using backstage bullshit to build up this supposed main event, which you completely botched on Dynamite, and supposedly, botched the main event of your upcoming pay-per-view for this. Yep. I don't understand this at all. I have tried. God, Elio, if you could have seen the amount of research that I did in preparation for this show. Not only did I watch NXT, but I was trying to figure out in my head every possible angle of where they could be going with this. I really did, because I like to have intelligent conversations when I come on the air. And I was really trying, but I couldn't find anything. To me, this makes the company look so bad. And the closest thing in comparison that I can figure is, the MJF and Wardlow thing at Double or Nothing. Because I think that was a shoot that turned into a work. And maybe they're trying to do something, or because I was like you, Clay. I figured, well, maybe CM Punk is really messed up, and they're trying to give him more time to recover, and that's why he's cutting promos and doing snow angels and stuff like this. And I can deal with. I thought it was stupid, but I can deal with the snow angels. That's very CM Punk. That's very CM Punk-esque. I can deal with that. But you built up this show, and you got a million viewers on your show based on the fact of you building this up, and this is what you give us.
I agree. Did you guys happen to catch what JR said on commentary though after this match?
No.
So Taz said on this, he said, did Punk come back too soon? Was going with the same thing that Excalibur and Tony Schiavone was saying. JR, being old JR, says he got his ass whooped is what happened. And I dug that. That was old JR, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I like that. So that was
Well, I think that was the commentary team trying to cover up what was going on here, because from what I was hearing, they were scrambling.
Yep.
Because I cannot figure out what they're doing here to save my life. And I'm usually pretty good at dissecting certain elements of professional wrestling storytelling and not taking it too seriously, and not going on social media to stand on my soapbox. I like to see how things play out and then talk about it later on, so I don't make an ass out of myself. But this is something that is very odd, and I feel like it highlights the fact that AEW is going through its coldest period in its history.
Right.
And this is what's bothering me, because you are calling attention to what people are calling out, but meanwhile you're still having great matches on your show, and all of that's being pushed to the side for this. And the other thing that I'm going to say, and then I swear I'll get to the high points and low points for Dynamite. I'm sorry, folks. I tend to get very very heated by certain things. I calmed you down earlier, Clay, and now you're going to have to do the same for me. I really don't understand this, and you have weeks and weeks to build up your biggest show of the year, is what I'm supposed to believe.
Right.
And this is what you're doing with it. I mean, I just, and the Gun Club match, holy shit! Talk about low points. But that's the thing, right? So they always rush their endings,
right?
To the shows, and we had Andrade unmasking, oh God, what's his name? It's Bandito's brother.
Dragon Lee.
Yes, and then that doesn't get explained, and then you're having Kylan King versus Britt Baker, which was a complete waste of time. Yep. So much of this, and I'm really not understanding what they're doing with Swerve in Our Glory. They've really pulled off. And what really pisses me off beyond anything, I'm even going to say beyond all this drama surrounding the main event, the TNT title situation. That is some of the most irrelevant bullshit I've ever. What have they done with Wardlow since this whole thing with MJF ended? Nothing.
Not a thing.
Nothing.
Nope. Nothing. Nope.
And it drives me up a wall, and yet people are paying attention to backstage bullshit and not calling stuff like that out.
Yep.
I have an issue with that.
Yep.
So high points and low points were largely the same as both you guys. I think you guys nailed that pretty well. And the one thing that I'll say about the main event that hasn't already been said is I'm hearing reports that it was Jon Moxley's idea and then CM Punk and company went along with it, which I assume is true. Otherwise, that thing wouldn't have aired.
Right.
Somebody came up with the idea and it aired, and I would have to assume, I guess, that there is some sort of problem. Otherwise, I'm not seeing a storyline reason for this shit to be booked.
Yep.
The one idea that I've seen floating around social media is MJF coming back? Is Adam Page going to get involved, and then that's going to lead to a tag team situation, and then whatever. What does that have to do with the world title?
It's nothing really.
Okay, because first of all, you had because of injury situations, you've had to have an interim world heavyweight title. You've had to have an interim, women's championship tournament now. I really don't understand it. If CM Punk was injured, then keep him out. I hate the fact that he might have had to miss All Out. I know that's damaging to the card, but at least it keeps the integrity of your world title.
Yep.
This is a joke.
Yep.
This is an absolute joke. And whether it's a combination of real life shit and shoot, you know what this reminds me of? This reminds me of Vince Russo, WCW. This is damn near as bad as Judy Bagwell on a forklift. I cannot figure that out, and it bothers me because this is a time when I'm supposed to be excited about pro wrestling, and I'm trying to figure out bullshit. Like this isn't entertaining storytelling or anything like that. To me, this is bullshit, and it's overshadowing a lot of the awesome stuff that's being put on AEW television, such as that main event with the Aussie Open. That was amazing.
Yep, that was a good match. Definitely.
I don't get it. So I'm done.
All right. Overall, I gave Dynamite a C+ this week. Elio, what'd you give it?
Yeah, I too went a C+.
All right, and Ben.
Once again, low man on the totem pole, but C-.
All right, that's okay. Let's go into SmackDown. You know what? High points I gave to Happy Corbin versus Ricochet. Good match to start out the show. Ricochet getting the win, and Corbin having these matches was really good.
Corbin looking like a wrestler again, like I said last week.
He did. He really did. He looked really well. And the fact that Pat McAfee was messing with him with the circle thing at the end, I was like, great. Wait a minute. This brain right here. It was circling his head. I'm like, oh, Pat.
You know what? He took Jerry Lawler's magistrator away.
Yeah. For sure. My other high points I gave to SmackDown was Drew McIntyre versus Sami Zayn. Main event was really good. Drew getting a win here was awesome. The Bloodline coming out, attacking Drew, beating the shit out of him throughout this whole thing. Roman coming out, beating the shit out of Drew, and ending with the Bloodline, which was great.
One question, though. What is Jay's problem?
What is whose problem?
Jay.
I don't
get it. Like, where's all this from?
I don't really know either. Maybe I'm not sure where they're going with the storyline because Jimmy has no problem with him, but Jay's like always disgruntled with Sammy. So I'm like
Jimmy's all cool. It's like, okay, whatever. Jay's like always in his face. like,
I know, right? I don't know. This must be going through the story thing. Low points I gave to the fatal four-way for the women's tag titles. If you were going to have this like match as short as it was, why even have it? Like, I understand the purpose of it because you got to give all four of them another opportunity, but it was just a short match, and Natalya and Sonya win. Honestly, and when I knew this was going to happen tonight, again for tag team to go against Io Sky and Dakota Kai, honestly, I knew Aaliyah and Raquel was going to win. I saw it coming. So I don't understand the purpose of it.
What made you see that coming? Because I had Natalya and Sonya Deville winning. So what made you see that coming?
Well, basically, we're the champion. You're going to go against Io Sky and Dakota Kai. Okay, I did not see a heel versus heel going for the tag titles. So, in my opinion, it was going to be Raquel and Aaliyah winning, just to have a baby face and a heel go against one another.
and plus Raquel and Dakota renewing their feud from NXT.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. Another low point I gave to the whole Viking Raiders and New Day segment. Again,
can we just end this?
You're hurting the Viking Raiders with this stuff. And with Woods coming out acting like he's hurt, then they bring out the kendo stick and beat the crap out of the Viking Raiders. I was so excited for this new look at the Viking Raiders, and now it's like, I don't even care.
Okay,
and that sucks.
The makeup around their eyes, because Ben was saying how it looks terrible, that makeup around their eyes.
It does.
It does,
really
right?
does. Yeah.
When you really stop and look at it, it looks bad.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the Viking Raiders took the makeup tips from Ronda Rousey. That's what it looks like. I mean, it looks awful, and I love this tag team going way back to like ROH days when they were like War Machine.
Right.
And is it just me, or do these guys, especially Ivar, these guys look like shit.
Yep.
I mean, good God, it looks like he's eating bonbons and watching soap operas and catering.
I'll tell you something about Ivar off air.
Yeah.
All right.
It's just really bad. So
yeah,
I don't know, but continue.
All right, and that is all I have for SmackDown. Elio, what'd you have?
So basically, I had Drew McIntyre and Sami Zayn. Again, I like the whole Sami Zayn and Roman Reigns interaction backstage.
Mm-hmm.
I also had they got their Sheamus segment.
Oh, I forgot about that. That was good too. Yeah.
And Ricochet and Corbin. What I really liked is that Drew McIntyre video pack.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah. I really like how they outlined his whole history, like when he first joined the company, then he got released, and then he found his way back. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah,
I enjoyed that video package for sure.
Classic redemption story, if you ask me.
Yeah. And for low points, again, the Viking Raiders Fatal 4-Way and the Max male model thing, backstage stuff. Don't do this to Angel and Humberto.
No, I agree 100%. The team is great, and they need that better push, but you're going to put them with maximum male models? No, please.
Yeah, and the same thing could be said for Hit Row.
I agree. Yes.
Let's be honest, because I loved Hit Row the first time around. I'm a little bit dubious of them without Swerve, but I am.
Well, I'll tell you something in a minute. Go on.
But based on my appreciation of the team in the past and just everybody's talent, I was really excited when they were brought back. And then they had that rap segment last week, which was absolutely terrible. And I'll tell you a story about that off the air because I don't want to take up much more time. I feel like I've been talking too much, and I do apologize. But in terms of high points, low points, I really like what they're doing with Sammy and Roman. I feel like that's going to tie in very well with the eventual Kevin Owens versus Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn versus the Usos for the tag team titles, which I think once that match takes place, then the Usos need to lose the tag titles and the destruction of the bloodline begins. The other high point that I had was the Drew McIntyre video package. Let me ask you guys a question before I move on.
Okay.
Based on the video package and the ending of SmackDown, do you think that sets up Drew McIntyre to win the WWE Championship next Saturday?
I think so. I really do. I feel like, and I even talked with Kaylee a little bit, which is my wife. Now, going into this, since it's in the UK, it's in Wales, Drew throughout when he first won the WWE Championship, okay, it was during COVID, right? Yeah. He didn't have the big pop with the crowd. It was an empty arena. Didn't have much. I mean, he had a good title reign. Took us through the pandemic, and really, I didn't think he got the benefit of the doubt with him being champion. Now, the second go around, that's different because there was a crowd, there was that. But that first moment, I feel like this is WWE redeeming him to have that, I won the championship moment in the UK, in his hometown.
I agree.
So I think after Clash of the Castle, we're going to have a new undisputed champion in Drew McIntyre.
And if you're going to start giving people back their original themes, please give him his Broken Dreams theme back.
Oh, I love that song.
I do not like the theme he has now. I don't like it at all. This one that he has.
No, and is it just me, fellas, or is the sword gimmick a bit overplayed at this point?
Yeah.
Well, it is, but I get why he does it. You know, it's like it's remembrance of his mom in some way. I don't know how you remember your mom through a sword, but hey, you know what? Do whatever you got to do. I understand why.
So that's a real thing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, I just thought that was like part of a.
No, his mom. I don't know really the story, but his mom passed away of cancer, and how he remembers her or has to the ring. It's that sword.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know the backstory of the sword and his mom, but that's why he does it.
Okay, that's what I meant. I never really understood the whole backstory there.
Right. But
they did do a nice job of bringing her up in said video package. And then,
absolutely.
And then the other high point that I had was Ricochet and Baron Corbin. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, gentlemen, I believe that was the first rematch of the Triple H era.
I think so.
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
So that was very interesting. Low points, they gotta get rid of this Viking Raider, stuff. They just have to. And I don't know about you guys, but I think it's especially with Big E's situation.
Mm-hmm.
I think it might be time to say bye-bye to the New Day.
I think, me and Elio probably agree with that. We've said that before Big E was injured.
I mean, all due respect to them, but it's lost all its heat. And in my opinion, it's lost all its luster since he was throwing pancakes in the crowd when it was in his crotch. I just, that was kind of the, and the segment with Dewey Foley was like made me want to puke. But it's time to move on. And more importantly than not liking any gimmicks, it doesn't make me take the performers seriously, if that makes sense.
Right. I agree.
And And the level of talent in the ring between all of those guys is it's too high to justify the comedy stuff. It's it's kind of like they're trying to put the Viking Raiders and the New Day in the position of, say, Santino Marella and Vladimir Kozlov having tea. It's really ridiculous in my opinion. But the highest of high points for me was the main event and that last image of the Bloodline in conjunction with all the video packages surrounding Drew McIntyre that really tied the show together and really made me excited for Clash at the Castle, because I think even more than, say, SummerSlam, I think Clash at the Castle really has an opportunity to be Triple H's statement show of, okay, this is a new day in WWE here, pardon the pun. Because if you think about it, this Clash at the Castle pay-per-view is such an opportunity to have like a global reset for WWE. Right. This is the first time in 30 years. We have had badass matches in overseas in the UK. I mean, this brings back, British Bulldog Pop at SummerSlam '92. This has the potential to be so amazing if they do it right. And to Elio's point, how cool would it be to have Drew McIntyre get his moment in front of that crowd? To me, this is like the tailor-made perfect situation, especially how he was put down at the end of SmackDown by the Bloodline. It's like the perfect recipe to have Drew McIntyre have his moment and then, move on to something else with the Bloodline and Roman Reigns. Because, and the last thing I'll say about this is, I don't know about you guys, like I have really enjoyed the Bloodline, but like the second half of Roman Reigns' title run has really done nothing for me.
I agree. He's doing the part-time thing. And it's
Well, and like, look, I understand the part-time thing, I do, and God, if anyone deserves it, it's Roman Reigns. I mean, I'm surprised his back isn't broken from carrying the goddamn company for so long. But the bottom line is you cannot hold two titles hostage for 2 years.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like that aspect of it is just, it's not going to work. It was painful enough when Brock Lesnar was holding one title hostage on Raw with the Universal title. It's not going to work with two.
No.
No. So I think Clash at the Castle is the perfect opportunity. Now SmackDown overall, I would give a 6.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't too impressed overall with SmackDown, but I really did enjoy the focus with Roman Reigns and Drew McIntyre. That was very well played. But the rest of it, especially the stuff with the women and having two and having them featured in 2 matches, the women's division needs help before you even begin to attack the tag team title situation.
All right. Elio, what's your overall for SmackDown?
So you SmackDown C+.
All right. I gave it a B- this week. So it was a pretty decent show. All right, guys. Now we're going to go to Battle of the A Show, where we go through all 4 shows and pick who is the best show overall. So, Elio, what's your pick for the A Show this week?
So the way I have it, I have Raw, AEW, NXT, and Raw, AEW, SmackDown, NXT. I'm going with Raw.
All right, Ben, what's your best show for this week?
I'm gonna go with Raw. I thought the in-ring action was just way too solid to not give it the nod.
All right, well, it doesn't matter what I say because Raw wins it this week, and if I had to pick, it would be Monday Night Raw. I think they had the best show. So Raw goes up another notch in the standings. And
Raw is now at 11.
Raw's at 11. Wow. That's crazy. I mean, guys, the rest of the three have to step it up. Raw's going away with this. So,
right.
All right. Now it's time for the book. Basically, what we do is put the most ridiculous things that happen in the weeks of wrestling, and we do it just for a good laugh because, everybody needs a good laugh every now and then. A couple things on the show have been said where I think we all need a laugh. So,
yeah,
with comments and all this, and let's not talk about it no more. Well, let's get to the book. All right. Baldy Sam's go fuck yourself.
Fuck him.
Fuck him. Stays. Kevin Dunn's camera shots. Stays. New NXT logo.
I'm sorry.
What
was the first one where you said fuck him? I didn't hear that.
Oh, that was Baldy Sam's go fuck yourself. It's Sam Roberts.
That's Sam Roberts, yeah. He's a commentator on NXT during the pay-per-views and stuff like that. He's just a dipshit.
Yeah.
I don't like Sam Roberts. Okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right. New NXT logo.
That stays.
Stays 100%.
That's got to stay in the book.
Definitely. Tony Khan's damn ego.
That stays. Every day he proves to be even more bigger horse's ass than he already is.
100% stays. No trick Willie shot. That stays. Sammy and Ty's tongue twisting. Stays.
It's disgusting.
I agree. Chris's wizard. Stays.
It's awful.
Very. Ben's AEW time management.
That stays.
Stays.
We know all it's going to go 5 hours.
Absolutely.
So something from a previous appearance of mine stayed in the book. Goddamn. I feel accomplished.
There you go. Well, it's true. Corey's obsession stays. And Tony's favorite, fuck wrong with Tony Khan's eyes.
That stays.
Stays 110%.
And Tony, if you're gonna listen to this, I'm gonna tell you what's wrong with Tony Khan's eyes.
No.
You cannot convince me, and this is coming from a guy that's never done drugs that were not pharmaceutical in his entire life. but you cannot tell me that he was not high as shit.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. We're right there with you, man. And our last bit of news, or not news, but our last thing we usually do on the show is the 5-second shuffle. But unfortunately, we cannot do it. Tony's not here. And so Elio retains the title for another week until next week. So,
boo.
But this is the end of the show. Ben, we appreciate you coming on, giving your input, and hope you had a fun time, man. It's always fun.
I definitely did. I can't wait to do it again.
All right. I am the $50 man, Clay Cummings, along with the gentleman,
Elio Canella.
And still not nicknamed, but who are you?
Ben Pierce.
All right. Love, peace, and wrestling. We'll see you guys next week. Love you all. Peace out.